arms man.
So you know I got to lean in.
What is going on, everybody? It is me again, and it is time to lean in, bitch, for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. The episode just went off. It was an hour and 15 minutes, which I didn't know
I didn't
until
even.
I was watching. So I had to, this would usually start at 9:05 Eastern PM. However, it didn't go out to 9:15. So here we are, 5 minutes afterwards. I'm sure you all, we weren't gonna start the show one in anyway. So makes sense. What's going on, Jamie? What's going on, Antonio? How y'all
What's
doing
up?
this lovely Wednesday night live? As well, the new Wednesday night live, we have another one. But this is the new Wednesday night live for the fall winter season.
We should all
I
wear
am
blonde
good.
wigs tonight.
Oh my
We
god.
should have put
Some
blonde
dry wigs. Some dry wigs.
I'm sorry, I just didn't have anything that cheap, so I just couldn't.
All your hair is luxurious.
It's more luxurious than what they had on. I get it.
Cortez get custom wigs, baby.
Okay, laced.
Okay?
All those wigs were season 1 through 3 of Drag Race. They were very
Listen.
polyester.
Very season one. Like I said, we're here to talk about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Episode was chaotic, as they all have been. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't see the first 10 minutes of the episode. But I asked Jamie and Antonio, it looks like we didn't miss much. So we're gonna start where I did pick up, which is where things start to get interesting. Of course, before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget we have Potomac on Mondays, and we are doing Real Housewives of Miami, but it is not a live show, at least not for now. So for now, it is going to be posted within the week's time of the episode airing. So look out for that. And yeah, let's get into the episode. Chase said, "Who whooped Heather?" Listen, I just want to know who hit this lady because
They did more than hit her. They had wore her ass out. Pulled
That's
up
what
to
I
her
said,
door.
Antonio. I said, someone beat this girl's ass.
Pulled up to her door, knocked on it. Said, "Come outside, bitch. Come outside."
Whitney
we
got
talked
her
about this
together.
back when the trailer came out. It was like, oh, child, they're gonna be in there. But now here we are.
It seemed like it was something.
Something happened.
Something.
Yes, and I think one of us had said like it was a matter of like maybe some makeup or something got in her eye or something.
I thought it looked like she was trying to go in a door and somebody pushed the door up. That's what I initially thought. But when she started showing scratches on her arms and shit, I was like, wait a minute.
I feel
Did
like
Portia go over to Salt Lake City?
I feel like Whitney was drunk and she came in there and was just like, Heather, we need to talk. You're not listening. And boop, boop. I don't know. This is what I think. But the way
So you're saying she jumped her? She jumped Heather?
Huh?
You're saying she jumped Heather? She snuck her?
I think the door jumped Heather. I don't think Whitney jumped her. The door. I think that the handle jumped. Got a piece of Heather, and then
just scratched her up. Okay, that's what it is.
I don't know. We're gonna see.
We're forensic scientists now.
Then again, you know what? Weather. Whitney has been getting her ass beat all season by Heather. So she decided to fight back. However, on the lane, we do not condone violence. Sometimes, unless it's necessary.
And all right, I swear.
Okay. Okay, so like I said, I didn't watch the first 10 minutes, didn't miss much. They're still on the San Diego trip. So I'll just start where where I actually picked up and where things are interesting. So they're on the beach. They playing this beach day, and they're having a good time. They're doing like different activities going on or whatever. And Angie K makes a comment about her and Jen's relationship. They show a flashback of her, basically her saying that her and Jen were the hosts were back on good terms. They started out hosting together. They fell out at the beginning of the trip over the whole. I guess Jen was upset. Angel was taking over, and she poured the wine last or whatever 2 episodes ago, right? But in this moment, she is kind of talking to Heather, and Heather's kind of confused because it sounds like she's talking about also that her and Jen's relationship may not be the same. So that's neither here or there. There is a lunch between Lisa, Jen, and Heather. Okay, and so in that at that lunch, Jen goes ahead and she apologizes to Lisa for, I guess, now that she remembers or is just taking some kind of accountability for what she said to Lisa. Last week she did not remember all the things she said to Lisa on the boat. She couldn't remember what the hell was going on. I guess she was so drunk, as Antonio and I failed to believe. And so, Jen, she apologized to Lisa. She's still sticking to the fact that, listen, you can be friends with Angie K, but I poured the drink on her because I was trying to lighten the mood. She's still sticking to that. So Heather wants to talk about what happened at dinner, and she feels like their relationship is toxic. Do you feel like their relationship is toxic? How do y'all feel about their relationship?
Oh yeah, it's definitely toxic. Yes.
Okay. I think toxic is a great word for it because it didn't just get toxic. It's always been toxic.
It's been toxic since
It's just now, Jen is, instead of making these little insults and calling her honey boo boo, she's all in Heather's face and her grill and giving it to her. I think that's the difference. And Heather can't take it, clearly. She would much rather anybody else be arguing than her with anybody, actually, but especially Jen. And so Jen says Heather's a flip flop. She says that she flip flops so much she might as well be wearing flip flops. I said, what the hell does that even mean?
I was like, what in the white woman shade?
I don't get it.
Well, hold on,
but I did laugh a little bit just because it was so stupid. Somebody tell a joke and it's not funny, but it's so stupid that it makes you laugh. That's what
it was.
I laughed. And I kind of looked down because I'm wearing flip flops, Karen, and I was. Then I'm like, well, so am I flip flop too? Well, damn, I guess I got to stop wearing flip flops at this point because I don't want to be anything like Heather. Let's just be very
clear.
Man. And so they kind of talk about this conversation that happened in the hot tub, and Heather, she's come to know of some things that Jen was saying when she was in the hot tub with Whitney and who else was in the damn hot tub?
It was Whitney,
Angie K,
Dana.
Who?
Whitney, Dana,
Angie K, and Dana.
Okay, yeah. So
Angie K was there, wasn't she?
Was it Angie K or Dana? They look like
Angie K.
Okay. They both,
okay.
The same.
Okay, I'm sorry. It was Whitney, Jen, Lisa, Angie K.
Okay. As to what Antonio said. And so, Heather is kind of sticking it to her by the things she said and going, terrified and toxic. And before, Heather could really stick it to her, Jen pulls the suicide card and saying that, this is why the situation that happened with the Shah Exposed Instagram page is so tough for her because she indeed tried to take her life. She locked herself in the bathroom. Coach Shah had to break the door down with his big old self and pull her out and take her to the hospital. This is just what Jen said. I'm not making this up.
Yeah. No, it is.
And so, Heather is just first she's like, oh, that is sad, but she's really not moved, to be honest. She's just like, okay, I'm sorry it happened to you, but it's still not cool for you to be saying what you said. So what are y'all thoughts on this whole thing? This would explain that weird, awkward scene of her in the bathroom, maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like they were trying to give us a premonition of maybe what's to come. But what are y'all's thoughts with the suicide card? And I do ask y'all, do you feel like Heather is insensitive? Because this is kind of the second situation where someone has kind of deemed her as insensitive because they've tried to throw whatever card, like suicide card or the abuse card, as it was with Whitney. What are y'all thoughts? Tony, I'll go first.
Oh, I was like, I'm not even gonna lie, I kind of gasped a little bit when Jen threw that out because it was weirdly or randomly placed in the conversation from what we see. It's almost like in that situation, we were having a discussion about our friendship and things that you've said and things that you've done, and this is me holding you accountable. I get why Heather kind of ended up backing off because she didn't want to look. I don't think that she was insensitive in this situation. Hell, I don't think she was really insensitive with Whitney's situation because, but it was just like, why would you just put that on your friends like that? Like the conversation that they were having wasn't so deep to where it's like, where you needed to pull that card. It was, you've been talking shit, you've been doing some fucked up shit, you've been saying some shit about Heather and get back to her. Own it. She gonna forgive you like she always does because she is scared of you. She is definitely scared of Jen. And just keep it moving. That was just such like a low blow to me for Jen to do that. Not to take away from her experience, and I hate that she's had to suffer so much, I guess, from bullying or whatever she said the reason was for her, making that attempt. Speaking of that attempt, she said she went and locked herself in the bathroom. I want to say, did she say 2.5 hours? Was that mentioned or something?
I didn't.
Yeah, she said a time frame.
Okay, Coach busted the door down, and she ended up going to the hospital. But I'm like, my question was, and I swear, y'all, I'm really not trying to sound insensitive and don't come at me, but did she attempt to commit suicide or was it just like a threat? Because I do know that I know people that have had situations where it was more so of a threat. They still had to go to a hospital. They just didn't go to a regular lay in the bed with an IV in your arm hospital. They went to a different type of hospital.
Yeah.
So I don't believe her. Also where I was kind of confused at. I'm like, was there an actual attempt or was it just a threat? And
you don't got to pussyfoot around this, Antonio. I don't believe a word that she said, and it actually pissed me all the way the fuck off because obviously we woke up to news that another young man took his life, very much dealing with depression. This year, it seems that we have been dealing with so many young Black and brown folk who have succumbed to depression and anxiety. I'm sure we've got viewers, myself, I've dealt with bouts of depression my entire life, thoughts of suicide. So when you're speaking on those things, you don't throw them out as a get out of accountability card. That never comes up. One, because of the shame and the stigma that's attached to it. Everybody that I know who have gone through this stuff tries their best to hide the shit that they've attempted to self-harm or suicide, and it is never brought up as a deflector to be honest or to take some accountability for what you're doing. I think it was really fucking gross that she did that. I don't doubt that she probably had a little bit of a breakdown, and it was more so the consequences of her fucking actions over the past 2 years. But I don't think Heather was insensitive. Like, Jen has done this for 3 seasons. She deflects and all of a sudden drops bombs whenever somebody tries to hold her feet to the fire. And at this point, Heather was right probably to back off because there was a no-win in that situation. And that is exactly why Jen dropped that, because she knew no matter what they said after, she was out scot-free. Because how do you argue with a woman that just told you she tried to commit suicide? Like, I hate that shit. I don't like that shit. For somebody that tried to commit suicide, chick was back the next day filming a reality show and screaming and cussing people out and throwing drinks. So, like, sorry, it doesn't fly with me. Like, I'm nothing about that was entertaining to me. I think she's disgusting.
I agree with you, Jim.
I agree. I mean, I hate to be that person, but I didn't believe it. And when she said it, I was just like, you got to be kidding me, because it's like, it's so weird. Like, when how things have just been happening lately, like, we're watching reality TV, but then literally the day of or the week before, there's something that happened that is in the same situation, similar to the whole, the Wendy thing with Wendy and Mia thing. People were relating it to Shanquella or whatever it is, the one that friends, the whole bullying thing. And then how she was recording, Robin recording. It was like not that it's perfect timing, but the timing. Not only was bad in general, but even if, let's say, for example, this young man didn't take his life this morning or today, it's still in poor taste because one is just Shah, and I just felt like it was such a cop out. Like,
Yeah.
okay, it really wasn't that bad, to be honest, for her to just be like, you know what, I'm sorry, but it's just to like I agree with everything Jamie said. I feel like
Yeah.
it was very disgusting. I was just like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When all you could have said was, look, I've been dealing with some shit, and as my friend, I would like you to note that this was really gross. Hold her feet to the fire. I don't like that you're friends with her because it really hurt me. But like, girl, all this extra stuff, like,
I mean,
nobody is even saying you don't have a reason to be mad.
This is the second time she's mentioned, alluded to suicide. Well, it's the first time she's actually came out and said it. She alluded to it earlier in the conversation with her and Coach Shah. And so it's like, okay. But I didn't like the moment either. And I didn't answer the question myself. I didn't think Heather was being insensitive. I think she saw through the bullshit. I think she was very much so like, I'm sorry you went I don't find Heather to be insensitive. I do. She's similar to myself and they're like, I'm sorry that you're going through, but I feel like things like that, they are not excuses for you being and doing dirty and bad things. Even when Lisa Rinna's mom passed, I didn't find any of those. I didn't find Lois as an excuse for anything she was doing personally. I just don't like. I just don't, because we all go through things. You know what I'm saying? In that case, child, I hit my toe in the bed. I'm so sorry. No, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I'm giving an example of we could just be like, oh, you should excuse this because I hit my toe in the bed. No, you got a bad attitude.
Yeah. This would be a different conversation if this is the first time we've seen Jen behaving this way.
Right.
Yeah.
This is not the first time we've seen Jen. And for the entire course of her legal battle, we have seen her at every opportunity throw excuses and try to wiggle her way out of just saying, I fucked up. Like she was just announcing her innocence at the beginning of the season, and then Whitney pled guilty. So like, Miss Thing is a pathological liar. She wouldn't know the truth if it was a wig on her nightstand. And I really hate her. And I hope I don't see her on my TV for at least 3 to 5 years.
I really thought Jen was gonna take the opportunity this season. I thought she was gonna try to dial it back.
No, she's turning right into Erica Jane.
Maybe worse at this point. I don't know.
Maybe I think it's worse because Jen is actually the one that's accused of the crime and on trial and shit.
Yeah.
With a whole lot of evidence.
But but Jen has not said it snowed here. Although we are getting some snow in other parts of California, but not in this southern part of California. Okay, so she storms off, has a moment, comes back, and it's still like, okay, I'm sorry that happened to you, but Lisa's, oh my God, Stu-ish. He's just like, I'm so sorry. Lisa, I feel like she got the reaction out of Lisa that she wanted. She didn't get the one from Heather. But Heather did kind of back off. She kind of did. She retracted a little bit. So they go back to the house and they're getting ready for dinner. This is the Marilyn Monroe theme situation. And they all get dressed, and I want to ask y'all, who do you think looked the worst?
The worst.
I'm gonna start with the worst. I don't think Heather looked great.
Meredith looked good.
No.
Meredith looked good.
No. First of all, Marilyn's hair. So some of the wigs were giving Marilyn Monroe.
No. Meredith wig was giving motherfucking Lakeisha from the projects.
Exactly. I would say Meredith's wig was not Marilyn Monroe. Hers.
It was like a wig of wavy or something.
It was definitely.
It was a bob and flipped under.
But Jen for me, she first of all, she had the nerves not even to have it needs to be dirty blonde. Okay, I mean like a platinum blonde.
A platinum
blonde
was
like
strawberry. Came with strawberry blonde or something.
Yeah,
strawberry blonde.
And she thought she did it because she came from her house. Like, you told me to be Marilyn Monroe. Also, I ain't never seen no picture of Marilyn Monroe really in no like little short tight dress like that. I don't know. For me, as far as the worst, who looked the worst? I'm gonna probably say Heather just because Heather's wig was too little.
What? So
Little
wait,
pussycat.
hold on. If hers was little, what the hell size was Dana and Lisa's?
Yeah. But you know what?
Because
Here's the thing, though. When they first kind of walked out the rooms, I was like, okay, the
Dana.
wigs are bad, but they aren't
Yeah.
horrible. But by the
Horrible.
time they was at dinner, I was like,
when
what
they
the
were
fuck
at
happened?
dinner, no, they were when they were at dinner and they were filming, and they were like making like Lisa's facial expressions while they were arguing. We're gonna get there, but her wig is like so little and tight.
It
I'm
was
so
so
glad she took it
stupid.
off. I'm
Oh
like,
my
it was
god.
absolutely ridiculous. And Dana's, yeah,
Poor
It was.
Dana. Because I
None of
really
it
like Dana.
irritates me.
I think Dana's really pretty. I love like the salt and pepper, but that poor wig did not. But did
I
you
would have.
catch
I would have had to
Angie?
say, I'm not wearing a wig. I'm sorry, unless somebody can run me by like a hair store and I can find one or something. I'm not wearing no fucking wig.
Did you
I'm not
hear
doing that.
Angie when Heather walked out? She goes, "Oh my God, you actually look really beautiful. I didn't think you would." I
She
said,
did say that. I
"I
said,
said, Angie."
girl, you just gonna say
And,
that? This girl already been called Shrek and fucking Honey Boo Boo and all kind of shit, but you gonna say that
She
to
said,
her?
"You actually look
I just,
beautiful."
to me, Heather looked a little hard in her wig.
Yeah, it was the
Well,
outfit
Heather
too.
look a
The
little
little
hard in
onesie.
general, though.
But
Watch
sometimes she
out.
look okay. But in this one is she needs to have hair down her past her
Oh
neck.
yeah. She can't
She
do
don't
no
need
short.
none short, none. It needs to be at least.
I would like to see Meredith with a nice blonde, or I would like to see what that looked like
I think
on
Meredith was
her.
pretty. That little asymmetrical number.
I would have liked if it
It
was like
was
done up, done up. I
it
would.
was
I
a
want to
nice
see Meredith.
wig, but it wasn't. It was very much so Rihanna rated R is what that wig
It
was.
wasn't no Marilyn Monroe wig.
It
Maybe it was
was
giving Beyonce EXO video.
Very that. Very that. I'm dying that Jen Shaw had bundles and pieces all over that apartment, all over that room. Just wigs on wigs on
Y'all
wigs.
see her little clip? Shot amazing.
I see. I was hoping that she lost it in the damn pool, but I don't think she did.
I hate that lady so much.
Okay, so they get to dinner after being all dressed up. Everybody's all dressed up. I was actually surprised Lisa did it because you don't really see Lisa do anything really in theme.
Yeah.
She said that.
She
She
looked
was like,
pretty, though.
I got in theme for you. So
Yeah,
She looked pretty.
I can't stand people like that. But people like that, I do not invite to my events because sit down. I'm serious. I'm so serious. I'm a theme person. If you don't do, you got one time not to follow theme. After that, you are not invited anymore. So Meredith, when they get to the table, Meredith asks what happened when everybody was separated. And earlier when Lisa, Heather, and Jen had their little separation, and that other girls did
no,
their
Whitney asked.
no. Meredith asked first. Meredith
she
asked
did.
what they did. Heather said it was hard to talk about, and
Okay.
so Jen says it's too personal. So Whitney was just like, I mean, so what did y'all talk about? Whitney kind of pressed it after they kind of said it was hard, and so Jen was like, it's too personal to talk about it. But since you're being so inquisitive, and let me go ahead and tell you, she giving Whitney all the neck rolls and her little hair just ain't no movement. She giving all the neck rolls. Like, let me since you want to be so inquisitive, she rolling her neck, going all in. And she tells her that she tells them that she told them about the suicide situation. And Whitney is just like, well, damn, I'm just asking the question. I wasn't there, so like, why am I getting all the attitude? And Jen confronts Whitney about, I guess, the hot tub. Obviously she found out from Heather what, everything that Jen said got back to her. And so she's like, well, Whitney, you had a lot to say, about Heather yourself. So since you want to be so inquisitive, let's put everything on the table and say what you talked about in the hot tub. And Whitney is just like, I mean, Heather is kind of flabbergasted. She's like, wait, Whitney, we still have problems. I'm like, yeah, y'all ain't never resolved them. Y'all
ain't never motherfucking talked.
Y'all have talked, but y'all never got to a resolution. So I mean, honestly, that's still a problem. At least that's what I would understand. Maybe I'm different. And so Heather says she didn't know it was still an issue. Whitney says yes, but she doesn't listen. And every time she tries to talk to her, she doesn't listen, but she also brings in someone else into the argument. And so they go back and forth. It kind of gets repetitive because Whitney is just telling Heather she doesn't listen. Heather at this moment really ain't listening. She kind of talking over. I would talk over Whitney too, because she's just annoying. And they kind of go back to the whole rumor thing of the whole tickets. This brings in Meredith. Meredith is like, well, hold on, Whitney. Like, don't act like you didn't, talk about the rumor that I didn't spread. They get into it. Whitney says that when Meredith came to her house, Meredith basically came ready to talk about a rumor, and that's why she decided to help her with the dishes. I'm like, okay.
I was so like, what?
I was
so lost.
They kind of go back and forth, and Jen spills more tea saying that Whitney wants to take a friend break from Heather, and Heather is just like, she's like, what? Her face, she looking like the She-Hulk. So, what are y'all thoughts on just this part?
Tonio.
What are y'all thoughts on this part? We had a lot of things going on.
My head hurts.
Whitney was trying to talk to Heather. So let me ask y'all this: do y'all think that Heather has not been listening to Whitney?
Absolutely.
I wouldn't be listening to Whitney neither.
Okay.
But I understand why. But she definitely has not been listening, and she proved at that table that she don't listen. She don't really give a fuck. And that's why I said
I think
she really gave Whitney some energy that I felt like she should have possibly given to Jen. She just, I don't know, just the way that she was acting. Also, going back to the initial thing with they always, when they're separated and it's the people are going and they're having a conversation about issues that have occurred, someone is always asking, okay, so what happened? How did it go? What was said? So for Jen to kind of like, I think that was Jen's way of being able to just say whatever it is that she said and make it like, oh, she's a victim. Like, oh, since you want to know so bad.
Whitney always does this.
Absolutely.
This ain't new. Nothing new. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And this is a good way to also segue into some type of drama, because now whatever y'all talked about in the privacy of y'all table at the restaurant, the whole group now gets to see it, and somebody can chime in and say, no, that ain't what happened, or somebody can add on, or whatever, whatever the situation is. So it was crazy that Jen kind of like went at her like that. I do like that Meredith, raised her head up from the motherfucking table, because sometimes I think my sister be going to sleep. And and she was like, now hold up, Whitney. And Whitney said, I took ownership of that. Meredith's like, nah, girl.
No, she didn't actually.
She did.
She never did.
Because she's still in the confessional, she's saying that Meredith led the conversation, and she's trying to make it seem like Meredith came over with some mess, which, you know what, maybe she did. In that whole thing, like, she tried to make it seem like Meredith was the initiator, the person that created the rumor, spread the rumor. Like, she didn't make it seem like it was solely all on Meredith, and that's
but to Whitney's defense, in her confessional, she did say she piled on.
Yeah.
More.
Well, that's the thing. Like, the thing with Whitney is her confessionals are always astute, right? She always months after the situation. Now she's back. But Whitney, somehow, like, I need her to understand that the common denominator is her. If for 3 years mess be starting wherever you go, you can't hold on to the fact that, oh, I just showed up and y'all were ready to start some mess and I just happened to add to it. Like, you're the common denominator. I could also understand why Heather doesn't try to listen to Whitney get to a point and stutter and slur her speech and talk. I'm like, girl, God.
That's my thing. It's like, so here's the thing. Like, I feel what Whitney is saying, because Heather really ain't trying to hear. And you said, Antonio, she don't give a fuck. I think she does, because every time Whitney makes a statement like, I'm taking a friend break, or we got issues, it bothers Heather to the point to where she's getting upset. She may not be listening to at that point, but I feel like if their conversation started in a way, well, shit, I don't know, because it sounds like Heather just don't want to be bothered with Whitney anyway. And I really wish she just would say that, because even when Whitney came to her house 101, although Whitney kind of came in a wrong way, I feel like, but I don't think in this way there's any way Whitney could come and Heather's going to receive it. All Heather wants from Whitney is for them to show up and act like they were once again.
Yeah. Well, the thing, and I can get that. Like, I feel a little bit of empathy towards Whitney, because whenever I'm having something with a friend, like I am that kind of person, like let's sit and talk about it ad nauseum. Like let's just get out everything. Where Heather is just like, girl, okay, whatever. Can we blow past this? And I think Heather at this point is probably tired of every single time they sit down and talk about the issues. It's, I really feel like you lied and you set me. Like, okay, girl, we get that. We've gotten past that. Where do we go from here? Because there's no solution. All you're doing is just rehashing the same shit, and it's taking you an hour to say the same things.
But I will say this.
She did mention trauma 32 times.
Oh my God. You know I'm going through trauma.
And but the thing is, they're not going to ever get past this until Whitney at least can say, okay, if you say you don't remember hearing this rumor, then you didn't hear it. But she keeps on saying in every statement,
you did hear it.
You did hear it. You did. Like, that has to be annoying. So I see both sides.
And she also said that Heather repeated it, right? In LA.
What do you mean?
I think they said that she's insinuating that the conversation was much more intimate than Heather was like, if y'all talked about it, like I didn't hear it. If it happened at that baseball game, it ain't got nothing to do with me.
Anything being wrong with a person saying that. I mean, it could be a cop out, but if somebody says they don't remember, then it's nothing you can do with say, unless you got a damn audio, a damn video, something to this.
Ashley Darby.
Like, there is no way you can try to corner somebody into whatever you said they did. Like, you can't do that.
And what it boils down to is Whitney doesn't want Heather to hear her. Whitney wants Heather to admit that Whitney's right. And that Heather's lying. Oh, yeah. That's what Whitney runs. And at that point, that's never going to happen. So
that's why I was lost when she brought up the trauma. And I'm like, okay, Whitney, do you want to be heard about the rumor? Do you want her to be, do you want her to be, sensitive to your situation because of the trauma and just say, okay, you know what? You're right, Whitney. Like, I'm just confused. It's very confusing, but the trauma in relation to this, it's not related. You just happen to tell.
It's not.
It
was given Jen Shah in the attempt.
Exactly.
Whitney's mad that her trauma isn't the past she thought it was going to be.
No, she's mad because Heather don't give a damn. She like, okay, girl, I'm sorry you went through that, but listen, I still ain't gonna get to this damn rumor. Same thing she did with Jen on the boat. I mean, earlier today on the episode. So I don't, find an issue with that. Like, you would never put me in a corner of a decision or saying I did something. If I didn't say I didn't do it, like,
you're not gonna guilt me, absolutely,
little girl.
You for hell ain't gonna guilt me,
right? So and like I said, Whitney's voice is annoying as hell. So when she's talking,
she's always drunk.
When she's talking, she's not saying nothing. There's nothing coming out. She's not saying anything.
Well, tonight though, she was drawing it out. She was drunk. She was talking slow. She was whining. Heather kept like jumping in, cutting her off, yelling over her. I hate when that happens too, especially when I'm trying to have a conversation with somebody and they like cut me off. I don't like that shit. But so I understand why she was getting a bit frustrated with Heather at that table, because Heather was doing that. And even Jen, with her dusty ass, she recognized it in her confessional. But she told Heather, use your voice that you got.
Use your little voice. I mean, that's true. You gotta look. My thing is also, Heather was like, oh, I'm listening. And then Whitney was like, no, I'm not saying nothing because you're not listening. I'm like,
I know that was getting on my nerves. They did that like 2 or 3 times. I was like, okay, now damn.
At this point,
or not.
Next scene, I'm just like,
just fight.
It just gets to be wrap it up, because y'all relationship is not that interesting. Y'all are not Nene and Kim. Y'all ain't Juicy and Minnie. Y'all ain't Quad and Mariah. We don't care. Y'all are not. Y'all are not the friendship that we just be like, oh my God, please make it work. It's not sad. I don't care.
At all. Y'all are annoying.
It's actually annoying. We y'all are friends, and annoying. We y'all not friends, so who cares? Okay. So after the friend break thing, Heather is just like, "Whoa, you want to take a break from my friendship? I should take a break from your friendship." And Whitney. Now I will say Whitney was on to something here, because Whitney, then she ain't saying nothing. They made sense all 3 seasons. But this, I feel like she said correctly. She says that Heather has blind loyalty to Jen, and she doesn't understand why she doesn't get the same grace as Jen because Jen treats her like shit. Now that
That is
she was on
true.
point with,
Broken
because
clock is right twice a day.
you're right. We ain't never been right until today, in my opinion. Because that's very true. But I don't know. I mean, it didn't seem to be a problem before now. So I get now that y'all are in turmoil. It's more clear, but
Not
this ain't
turmoil.
new. You should have. Why? What did we? I don't know. I don't recall Whitney said anything when Jen and Heather were going at it season 1 reunion about the whole Honey Boo Boo and Shrek. Whitney was just sitting there like
She
she didn't
was.
say Jen that was wrong. She didn't say anything.
Because
So
in Whitney's mind, she's probably like, well, she do kind of look like Honey Boo Boo. That's what she.
probably. Either way, but she threw it in there. And you notice how you notice that these two are like deflecting a lot. Heather's, I guess, ammunition at Whitney is Lisa and their
Yeah,
friendship.
yeah.
I feel like they need to just be friends because they secretly hate the friendships that they have settled in now. So now Whitney being friends with Lisa, Heather hates it. And I guess now Whitney has shown that she hates the friendship of her and Jen, although she ain't really said nothing. I mean, other than now. Um, and I will say, this is a moment where I realize Heather is deflecting. I wish she would just be, I
She
wish she
does.
would own this little bitch mode that she's in, just kind of be like, listen, I'm not liking you right now, or whatever it is, but she's kind of not. She's kind of like, well, this what you said about Lisa, and Lisa's like, I'm good, like leave me out of it, with her little tight wig. um, Dana,
Party
Dana,
shit.
Dana wig was itching. She was scratching it on the side. I was like, Lord have mercy. So I had a
I do
question for
like how
y'all.
Dana, whatever. I do
Mhm.
like that she, as a friend, will try to kind of get in there still and not necessarily show that she is thirsty to me,
Yeah,
but still kind of like make her voice heard because she kind of jumped in and,
Well,
you
and she's
know,
been on point with the feedback that she gives. Like
yeah,
she's never been to one team or this. She's like, am I the
yeah,
only one that's seeing the ludicrousy of what y'all are fighting about? Because this looks stupid.
yeah.
So I'm liking Miss
It's
Dana.
very much so. Kim Fields. Are we grown ass
Dana said we
women?
look like we on drugs over here because y'all acting stupid.
I'll ask y'all like, do you feel like both? So they both obviously feel like they've been clear to one another on how they feel. Do you feel like one has not been clear, or is it still like, are they both just not saying anything? Because I know Whitney
I
ain't
don't
saying
care.
much shit.
I don't care.
I
At
don't
this
think
point, I
that
do
they
not
are.
care.
I mean that too, Jamie, but I don't think that they've been clear. Like Whitney, the poor thing didn't even get a full sentence out tonight, other than "See, you still do it. You won't let me
You
talk." And
still doing it right now. With her little side boob
I,
out. I'm like, ooh.
I was just like, okay, I
That
don't,
wig
I
kept.
just don't. They really need to just sit down and be like, okay, you say everything you got to say, and then I'm gonna say everything I got to say, and then we gonna decide whether we gonna move
Uninterrupted.
forward or not.
Uninterrupted. I would
And
love
with no
to
cameras, so we
see
don't have to see
No camp, exactly, because I don't really want to see it.
I would love to see what Whitney says if somebody just muzzles Heather and she can't say nothing. Because it's probably still gonna just be very Charlie Brown. My.
Yeah.
It probably
Well,
will.
and honestly, I don't think Whitney even knows what she wants to say without Heather interrupting her. She's so used, like Whitney thrives on conflict with people. She
Yeah.
thrives on being that victim. So she always says, "You need to let me talk." You need to say, like, "Girl, this is the 8th conversation. If you haven't come out and said that I'm hurting your feelings, it ain't gonna happen." Like, it's
Mhm.
6 words.
Mhm.
That's all you got to say. Like, I don't think Whitney has a fully formed thought in her head at this point.
Yeah.
She just knows she's mad about the
And
trauma, about the
about
Mormon, about something.
out the trauma. And
My trauma.
we talked about that trauma. Trauma.
Trauma.
We talked about the trauma earlier when we were, talking about the episode when she first said it, and we didn't really like go into it, but I kind of said Whitney's another person. I don't know what to believe. And so now seeing her, okay, Dr. C who says, she ever revealed what type of trauma, some kind of abuse. I'm assuming maybe sexual. That's what I'm going to assume.
Yeah, because she never says you don't know if it's sexual.
I'm gonna say when people, I feel like if it was physical,
that's what it seemed like.
Yeah, I'm gonna say what she alluded to was sexual abuse, but I don't know, child. But yeah, after Dana's wig itches and their girls, Lisa takes hers off.
Please, Cortez.
She was itching. You gotta go. She literally was doing this. She might as well itch it right here. Because that shit was tight as hell and itchy. Lisa takes hers off and they decide to go to the club. And the club they go to is a gay club, Flicks. I actually love Flicks. It's in San Diego if you've never been. But at the club, they all getting lit in their wigs and stuff. And Heather, she drunk child. She fuck Whitney this. And Lisa picked her. They like, what Lisa? She said Lisa picked her side. Fuck her too, or whatever she said. And they had a good time.
Hell was up in the section throwing up gang signs and shit. Hell was like, fuck that bitch, I'll ride down on that hoe right now.
Heather was in there was in there playing what's the name of that damn rapper? What's his name, that rapper?
Which one?
Damn, I can't think of his name. I cannot think of his name now.
Tupac?
No, recent rapper.
Oh.
You know that song like, bitch, I got my own. No need to treat you in the club. What song? What's his name? I can't think of his name now.
See, I was thinking she was.
That's when Heather was here because baby, she was in the section. She probably was standing on couches with her shoes off.
She's gonna walk around the club, fuck everybody.
Definitely
right.
I'm weak. I'm in the club.
Walk around the
club. Exactly. So Heather was doing that in the club. And when they get back to the house, child, they literally are just walking around with their titties out. Literally, especially Jen's little shape and her little push-up body, child, just walking around.
Because it definitely looked like somebody took something and like pushed it up, and then her titties was like, but the rest of her body just went like
a little drink umbrella, like the kind of. Or what's that gif of Mrs. Krabs from SpongeBob where she pushing her titties up?
And she said the synthetic wig on.
Right, she had the wig on.
Glue
but they basically have a good time at the house. Nothing really happened at the house until around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, where everybody goes to their room and you see Heather. And Heather wakes up again at 4. She goes to the door and then the camera light goes out. And so the next day, Heather is sitting at the damn table and Meredith, Jen was like, Meredith, you gotta come see this girl. Come see this child. And Heather takes off her glasses, and baby, she got a black eye. And she got
the black eye from hell.
Scratches on her arm. So somebody definitely hit Heather. That was not makeup. Something happened. It goes to be, to be continued. So we guess we're gonna find out till next Wednesday.
I'm like, damn, did somebody break in that motherfucker? And like, because
that's what I thought.
She had to unlock her door and.
It was her phone call the next day. Meredith, you have to come to my room immediately. Like, girl, shut up.
Meredith came up. Meredith like, wait a minute, y'all hoes.
Meredith came over and it was like, just come to sit right here, please. You got to see this. Like,
so dramatic.
I was like, boom. She was like Martin when he got in the boxing match that time.
She got her, girl. They were getting her.
What do y'all think happened? Let's everybody give what we think happened, and we'll see.
Whitney said, "I heard you were talking shit in the club."
Oh, okay. So you
I heard you had a lot to say.
You think Whitney had something to do with it, or you think Whitney actually hit her?
I think Whitney had something to do with.
I think Whitney
definitely with the way because they didn't call everybody over, and we know well, we ruling Dana and Angie K out. We're ruling Lisa Barlow out. Clearly, it
Lisa
wasn't
Barlow would
Meredith or Jen that did it, so it
Mhm.
had to be Whitney. But I'm like, why? What would make Whitney get up at 4 something? Well, maybe Whitney was in that room steaming, like, nah, this bitch gonna try to sun me in front
Because
of
she's
these
done
folks.
that before.
She got up
Beginning
and
of the season when she
she
tore up the
walked
friend
over there.
contract.
Doom, 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 doom. I know this bitch up the light on.
She did. That's true.
Yeah. Whitney loves to get drunk and then think about stuff of an hour later.
And I
And you
think
know that
Whitney
bitch never
tried to
goes to
like
bed.
really
Oh,
like
the
sun her
rapper.
again.
Sorry, the rapper was Pooh Shiesty.
Not
Oh.
Pooh Shiesty.
That's the was. Baby, she was in there and listened to that Pooh Shiesty in that club. That's what she felt like. Even though clearly we know Pooh Shiesty in there, but yeah.
Walk around everybody. And
I
but
think
no, it was definitely I definitely think Whitney put some clearly she put some paws on Heather.
She put some
Because
little
Heather
paws
had
on her.
motherfucking scratches on her arm. Like, yeah, Whitney had let
Poor
loose
thing. Poor thing.
we don't know exactly what happened. I guess we're gonna find out next week. But if you're watching, whether live or the replay, let us know what you feel is what do you think happened to Heather?
Go ahead and tell us now in the group chat, y'all.
Okay, what do you hope
Let
happened?
us know what you think happened, child. As of right now, I go ahead and put the link in the chat for a few calls if we have any today. But that pretty much concludes our recap. Nothing really much came up. We're getting close to the end of the season. I don't know when. I don't know when
they filming Friday. I read
Friday.
that on the
Okay.
Oh shit! Already.
Okay, that's good then. So that means, I say
16 episodes, 15, 16?
I would say
maybe
they got probably like maybe 3 more.
Because we're on episode what, 11?
It'll probably air at the beginning of February, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
In of January, February, because who came on? Salt Lake City came on a week before Potomac, right? I think
Potomac films.
Yeah,
in
and
2
they're
weeks. What did he say? Right?
I actually heard what they're gonna be wearing, but that's a different show, different day. So I'll leave that. But
text me.
Okay, group chat.
I'm gonna tell my link, but I'm gonna tell the lean co-host, chat the lean family. But y'all gonna have to wait because I don't want to be spoiling. But yeah, if you want to call in, this is the time to do so. I saw individuals asking like, how do you call in? So obviously, towards the end of our recap, I send the link like I just did in the chat. I usually put the lines are open because the line be long as hell on some of these shows. So you just basically click this link here and then it'll ask you for like access to your camera and mic. You can just do audio if you don't want face, or if you want to get up here and look good like we do, you can put yourself on camera. I mean,
maybe I look tired as hell. There ain't no looking good over here.
Just make sure the quality is not low budget because I will have to let you go. I mean, I don't listen. You have 10 seconds to say hello, can I hear me? After that, all right, gotta go. Just saying. Just because we gotta keep the show rolling. We can't let the show be held up for some low budgetness. Just saying.
Even if it's a panelist.
Yeah, if it's a panelist, we gotta go ahead and keep it. Our hosts love a little low budgetness every once in a while.
Poor Sammy.
Jamie. No.
Wrong
road.
He gonna
fuck everybody.
Walk around the league. Fuck everybody.
Okay, I give somebody about another 15 to 30 seconds to join the line before we lean out because there may not be no calls today. But
y'all call us and tell us what y'all think happened. What y'all
right. Dr. C, why you on call in? Oh, you said you hadn't watched.
He said he had watched the episode.
You did see it. So yeah. Well, I mean, because he hasn't. Okay, you see, yeah. Well, anyway, I'm sure you'll come back with your commentary tomorrow on what you think happened. But it looks like there are no callers today, and that's totally fine. So we'll go ahead and lean out early. Next Wednesday is going into Christmas. There should be an episode, right?
Yeah.
Dang.
I know
because they showed a preview for it.
You're right. They did.
Yeah.
I missed that. I know Potomac is going to take a break until.
Oh wait, no, they didn't show a preview.
I don't think
they did. They didn't show a preview.
They didn't.
Bravo is going to be like Potomac, and I think Salt Lake City is going to take a break until like the first week of January after this week.
Miami just dropping episodes. Boom, 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 boom.
Different budget, different threshold. They're gonna drop it regardless. Okay, then. Well, thank y'all for watching. Thank you, Antonio and Jamie, for leaning in today. Really good episode. That was Salt Lake City. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to the video and let us know in the chat. Well, not in the chat. Let us know in the comments. Obviously, the replay group. I mean, replay crew. Who do you feel is responsible for Heather's eye and her arm? Thank y'all for watching. We'll see y'all next time. Y'all have a good weekend. Okay. Good night, y'all. Peace.
Peace.